he may have some comments as Fed Chair. Just to reiterate, Fed Chair Jerome Powell spoke before the House Financial Services Committee the other day, saying he has no intention of banning cryptocurrencies. He did signal that stable coins may need regulation, but when asked about earlier comments he had made about CBDCs replacing private crypto, Powell said he'd misspoken. So joining us now is Congressman Tom Emmer of Minnesota's 6th District. Welcome, Congressman. So you are a member of the House Financial Services Committee, and Powell made some comments before the committee yesterday. What was your reaction to his remarks on further regulation of stablecoins? And he had misspoken regarding CBDCs replacing private cryptos.
He'd misspoken. Understatement. First, good morning, Christine. Great to see you. Lawrence, Emily, wonderful to be with you again. The Fed chair is not so sure what he wants to say. I'm not exactly in agreement with Emily. I think that is a reasonable viewpoint that Emily suggests. But you got to understand, the Fed chair back in March said that cryptocurrency is just like gold. And then he came out and he said, the reason to create I think it was just a few weeks ago, came out and said the reason to create a central bank a digital currency is because it'll eliminate the need for cryptocurrency and stablecoins. And now yesterday, because I think he understands how controversial that is, when you have over 55 million Americans already in the Bitcoin, in the cryptocurrency market, and you have a $2 trillion market and growing, it's not going to go away. So that's the point, Emily, that I agree with you. They're not going to be able to stop this. The problem that we're having with these people is that these mixed messages they keep sending are creating a lack of clarity. And I believe not only are they risking driving innovation and entrepreneurs outside of the U.S., but they already are driving different opportunities off our shores. So I sent a letter just 2 days ago to Chair Powell. Perhaps that's why, with, by the way, some of my fellow members on the blockchain caucus, calling into question his comments. I guess it was July that he made the comments about, we won't have a need for cryptocurrency or stable coins if we have a central bank digital currency. So perhaps I'll throw it back to you three. Perhaps that's why he threw out the comment yesterday. Oh, no, we're not interested in eliminating cryptocurrencies. But I'll just point out to conclude, he's had mixed messages and different messages since last March, which is why we sent him a letter and asked him, what is the Fed doing to try and ensure that this cryptocurrency industry is going to be allowed to be part of the options when it comes to financial services in the United States?
So, Congressman Emmer, that's a really interesting perspective. So, just to be clear here, I agree with everything you said, and you're right about his comments in the past. But in my view, there's a pretty big difference between saying, CBDCs will eliminate the need for cryptocurrency. He's kind of saying it will serve as a replacement, and actually saying that the U.S. government will ban cryptocurrencies. And I guess the question is, have you actually ever thought in the past there was a risk of somebody, in the federal government, like at the top level, actually banning cryptocurrencies? That's sort of my point. I've never really felt that there was any momentum for that extreme a position, but please correct me if I'm mistaken.
No, Emily, you and I are in agreement on that. I go back to Christine with Brad Sherman from California. He's the only one that I've heard that has that strong an opinion. I do think, however, our people in the federal government, specifically the executive branch, whether we're talking about the chair of the Federal Reserve or governors in the Federal Reserve, where we're talking about Treasury, whether we're talking about the SEC, I do believe that they are trying to gain control over the cryptocurrency industry and direct it. And that really isn't conducive to growth and entrepreneurial activity and opportunity.
Congressman Emmer, taking it from a different angle, though, would CBDCs basically dry up the capital markets? Should they be implemented? I mean, what incentive would cash holders have if they subsequently convert to CBDC what incentive would they have to put their money in the bank if they say, well, it's a password here, it's a password there. Why don't I just, keep it with the Fed and not invest it in a private institution? Does the CBDC basically get rid of the capital markets, or at least a large part of it?
Well, it's a good question. I want to go back to the concept before we address that, which is the only way that I would ever agree that a CBDC would be something that we should do, and I don't think it is if it were entirely like cash, if it were permissionless and decentralized. And I just don't think they're going to be able to do that. Plus, Lawrence, the problem I'm having is it looks to me, when the chair of the Fed talks about, it's critical that we develop this central bank digital currency. One, our Federal Reserve, it should never be in competition with the private sector. Our government should never be competing with private sector businesses in this country. And two, Lawrence, I'll ask you, if we go that direction, why is it that we want to emulate the Chinese Communist Party? Because that's essentially what they have created with the digital yuan. And you're right. What does it do? I think more people that are interested in their privacy, more people that are interested in creating will steer away from it. And it might actually affect traditional financial dealings and institutions. I just think this is misguided. I think everybody's in a rush because of the Chinese. It's look out, the Chinese have the digital yuan. So the United States of America better have a digital dollar of its own very soon. And it's very disturbing. Well, Emily, I didn't mean to call into question. You're right. They haven't said they want to kill it, but they certainly want to take it into a centralized banking situation as opposed to the decentralized nature that created it in the first place. I mean, why do we have cryptocurrency? Well, because a lot of people think our federal government's monetary policy is misguided. This idea that you can print cash and spend cash with no consequences, it doesn't make sense, which is